Welcome to the Louchen Bros podcast. This is... God, I can't even talk. This show is hosted by Brian Louchen.
And Kevin Louchen.
And we are bros to talk about nerd stuff.
All right, we got coming right back at you today. Our episode, we're going to get into the movie Apex. It is recently out at this time on Netflix. It's kind of our first actual, just more pure thriller, kind of not sci-fi stuff. I am a huge movie buff in general. Brian is also one too. And I just, it was just one of those things where, you know, we like what we like. So shut up. All right. So that's just how this was. So we came across this gem here, and we're going to go ahead and just to start with the kind of plot synopsis a little bit. It's basically about this woman. Mostly, she starts off, she's mountain climbing with her boyfriend in Norway. And things go a little south in the process, and unfortunately he passes away. So then she's like, yeah, mountain climbing's kind of out now. And so she then's going to Australia, where he was from, and kind of, I think, is a remembrance / a kind of letting him go kind of aspect. And in that process, she runs into somebody who's like, you know what? You look like you'd be awesome dead. So this guy is chasing her, and he goes and he's attempting to kill her. They have some altercations, and it's an experience. And then eventually she ends up getting away, and that's the version I want to go with to start with, because we're going to cover the other details here shortly. But yeah, how you feeling about it, Brian?
Yeah, the mountains climber name was Sasha, and the...
No, the woman's name is Sasha, right?
Yeah, the mountain climber, the woman.
Well, there's two of them.
Well, there is. I mean, this is, your typical primal survival thriller, of the feeling story of a psycho hunting its victims in the wilderness trope. It's obviously been done before. Yeah, I mean, there was some good aspects and some bad aspects, but it was kind of typical as far as your chasing type of thing. Do you want some beef jerky?
Yeah.
Okay.
First off, I think the most important thing to do is when you see that opening scene and she unzips that tent, I knew immediately they were going to be on the side of a mountain, and sure fucking enough, they were on the side of a mountain, and I said, hell no. I would never, ever do that. I don't think you could pay me. I just don't have the confidence to do that. That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, let's set the scene a little bit. You're on the side of a fucking mountain with a tent that's... I don't even know how they do that, Kevin. It's basically like drilled into the whatever
they mounted
pickaxe. They mounted it, so you open the flap of the tent and you're freaking... God knows how many kilometers,
hundreds,
thousands of feet from the actual ground. Breathtaking, gorgeous view, but
absolutely
not for me.
The best
hell
views.
Hell no.
The best views, but never would I ever like. And they're literally they're a duo group where like one kind of free climbs, like attached to a rope, so not total free climb, but like with hands, no tools, climbing up, and just no. I would never. I've been skydiving. I would never do this. Never do this ever.
Yeah, so that part, again, opening up into that scene was definitely breathtaking for sure. But yeah, like for the extremists, they would definitely dig that. But that was...
So I needed to cover that would be a never ever in my life, because I just couldn't. But as it starts in, a couple things that kind of was jumping out to me. You could hear the boyfriend's name, Tommy, at the time, was just trying to talk to Sasha about, like, you could see, like, they weren't young, but, considering the actors, they're probably, like, pushing 50s, somewhere around there. And it's just like, yeah, coming to terms. I mean, we're kind of starting to get close to pushing 50, getting up there. And it's like, you get the feel like, you ain't going to be able to do this forever. And it's like, what are we still doing this for? And you could like feel the tone was there, and it's like it wasn't on his end that the drive was still going. And it's like you could definitely dissect what this was for a relationship, for a moment, for anything. I don't think it was trying to, but you could definitely see there was like, hey, I didn't really want to go out here. I've only been going out here more recently because you've been wanting to. And it kind of just foreshadowed the element that unfortunately he passes away on a time that he didn't even want to go. And I think that was really supposed to be the point that they wanted to drive home. He didn't even want to be there.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Listen, if you're listening to us, you got to know we're telling it like it's gonna be. So
right.
you just got to be in for it. I'm not trying to hide. I don't know how we would do a movie review and not spoil it. So that's on you, homies. But yeah, no, so he goes and passes away. Like at this moment, it just feels like everything was okay, and they're like, you know what? All right, this final last climb, let's be done with it. I mean, and yeah, it just goes the worst way possible.
Yeah, it definitely does, and they have that incident. He falls, passes away, and he talks about needing to slow down, which definitely was from foreshadowing for sure, as far as wanting her to slow down, but she was just wanting to do one more,
But it was interesting because he was even talking about having. Oh, that's why you have a climbing partner, because you could, and that foreshadowed to the future when she's just solo. Like there were little hints and I think lines that were used intentionally to let like a duo is different than going solo, traveling and adventuring, where you don't have anybody as backup. And she literally fell a couple times while they were mountain
climbing. She fell like 6 fucking times in the same damn spot.
So and it just makes me wonder. I'm like, had they gone up and it would have been fine? Had they just gone down sooner or faster? Because he gets hit in the head with a rock as they're trying to climb down and get under an overhang because the top of the mountain is starting to come down, and it even foreshadows later on is she is able to grab the rope, but she didn't tie herself off. So is it the hastiness that made her do it? Is like it wasn't intentional, but then she can't even hold on to him to like know if he was even alive after he got hit by this giant boulder. And it's like, that haunts her. And she literally addresses it later in the movie. She's like, I don't even know if he was alive when I let go. She definitely couldn't end up keeping a hold of him, but still it's kind of a crazy idea to like know that you'll never know, and it is going to bother her forever. And it just, some of these life lasting impacts just hit us when we don't know. Our passing of our father had a big moment for me that I will never forget, and it was a good one, but still, like, you never know when something's going to happen like that, and it just can kind of be abrupt as far as things go like that. But it was interesting as far as that goes. Then it moves on to where she's in Australia, seemingly just driving, and you have the sense that she's just, I feel like it was probably going to be her last adventure. It was like a means of just putting it off.
She grabbed his compass from
Yes.
her boyfriend or husband or whatever as a memento type of thing. So I think, this was kind of her going out in the sunset, I guess you could say.
And so in the process, she runs into a couple of what looks like
hunters.
Well, yeah, they were hunters. I dug into this a little bit. Okay. So part of the thing you find out is she really owned, the only weapon she had at one point was mace. And I was like, why the hell would you not have any weapons on you going solo? So like no knife or anything. I thought that was weird. But I looked into even guns or firearms. I'm like, it's got to be a lot harder. So they have a lot stricter firearms laws in Australia, and you can get permits to even bring your own, like if you have one, if you wanted to, but I think you have to have it set up to like you're going hunting with somebody. Like you can't just bring it in on your own. And they basically don't have laws that support protection for gun owning. It has to be for a job or hunting or something related to that, and that's why those other guys can have it because they were hunters in the movie that you see. As far as that goes, but I'm like, yeah, I still would have had some sort of fucking knife or even gotten one while I was there.
Damn hammer, baseball bat.
Well, I mean, you know how useful it is to have that a knife in the fucking wilderness. Like that is huge. At least I would think so. You know, especially when I started thinking Australia and animals. So maybe getting a little ahead of myself with this tidbit, but it's still super relevant for the moment. First thing I think about usually when I think about Australia is kangaroos, koalas, and crocodiles. Crocodiles. However, crocodiles, if you didn't know, Brian, don't live all over Australia. They live mostly in the northern tip part of Australia, and that's about it. And usually coastal and everything like that. So a lot of times, if you go more mainward or even the southern and around, you're not going to run into crocodiles.
See, this is where you learn the facts on the Louchen Bros.
Listen, don't say lies like that. I did a quick Google search. Anyone could do it, and because I was told that, and I wanted to check it, and that's what it looks like. It's mostly the northern tip area where it kind of does this like weird U kind of thing between the. Whatever. And
this definitely wasn't. I could see where they wouldn't have crocodiles because this did have like a lot of whitewater rapids.
Yes,
and
that's why
rock formations and shit. So I can see like not having crocodiles in the movie.
Well, I mean, if you're going rapid whitewater rafting of any sort, you're not going to want to run into something that's going to live in the water that can eat you. That would just be dumb, in my opinion. At the same time, there was more forest and stuff like that, and so I think the more northern part is also a little drier in that regard. So I don't know the geography of Australia that well, but I do know they have towns underground in Australia. Don't tell me how I know, but I do know. Like,
how the hell did you know that?
So I saw something. That's all I can say. I don't. This is the 90s kicking in where you can't verify it just off the top of your head. You can look it up, but if you want to, yeah. Apparently, there's like a sign to the town, and you get in, and there's like maybe one or two buildings above ground, and then literally there's hundreds of people with underground houses. Like if you want to expand it, they have a map. I think the whole town's got a map of where everyone's housing stuff is. So if you're like, you know what, I just want to put an addition real quick, just start digging in fucking rock.
I mean, is there a reason why? Do you know? I'll look into that.
Yeah, from my understanding, it gets so hot in that area, that specific area.
It's cooler underground.
Oh, and wow. I think that might be one of the biggest reasons, to be honest with you. But apparently everybody loves it. Yeah, it's cool. It's regulated. It's like constantly in the 70s. So yeah, it's not a terrible idea. But I thought it was just wild. Sorry, we're way off topic.
Yeah, we are way off topic. Let's get back to that story.
Yes.
So I did see like her going into your typical small town gas station and stuff. And again, they had it in the story where it looked like the hunters were going to be the bad guys because they came off obviously with that sense of aggression, trying to be nice but kind of snarky. And then you have the nice guy who, like I said, is selling jerky at the actual local store.
I knew from the get-go
it was
something was shady.
Yeah, there was a reason that was obviously in that earlier scene, which that's spoiler alert, human jerky, which obviously was packaged and stuff like that.
The lady selling it said, I wouldn't even feed that to my dogs. I was like, that's got to be human. It's got to be human.
And this nice guy then Ben ends up turning out to be this primal psycho killer. He kind of comes across her, at the gas station, being friendly and that sort of thing, suggests the place in where she was actually heading to actually stop at, which was kind of a sign, and he had like a makeshift hut there and everything. It was kind of like, if you remember the movie, I don't know what it was in the 90s or 2000s, River Wild, I think, with Kevin Bacon back in the day.
Yes, great movie.
Your tense game, tense and shallow cat and mouse type game.
What's her name? What's the main actress in that movie? Oh, she's a good one too. She's from The Devil Wears Prada. She's from the big actress. Yeah, and I know you got to look it up. But she's amazing too. Also, Death Becomes Her. Yeah, that's a throwback if y'all know that one. That's a great movie. Do you see it? That's
a new one, actually.
Oh, they remade the River Wild. What are they doing, Hollywood? Get your shit together. Quit remaking everything.
1994, Meryl Streep.
Yes, Meryl Streep. God damn it! I'm mad now that they're remaking everything.
We're gonna talk about Anaconda as far as reboot.
Well, that's different. We'll get into that. But anywho, where are we at? Okay, yeah. So you see, he isn't playing a nice guy. Maybe he actually is when he's not out killing people, but
it's a facade. It's really a facade.
You get the opinion that he's setting her up. He's kind of, playing cat and mouse, getting ready to get her, and he's like, well, if you want to go to here, that's the easiest way. But if you want this, I think he's letting it play out of whether or not this will determine he's going to hunt her. I think that's what it is. Because if she goes straight there, I don't think he follows her. But if she goes to the area where he knows he can play his game, I think he's setting her up, and she plays into his trap.
And he does mention later on that he was there when the hunters showed up, which that was one of the things that I did see what the reviewers were talking about. It wouldn't make sense that you ditch your car at the beginning of where you're going if you're having to go all the way downhill. Most people wouldn't just ditch their vehicle like that and get lost.
That's one of the questions I put is, so she goes, she leaves, she gets on this venture, and she goes to park at this campsite she was told about, and then the plan is she stays the night, the hunters show up, it's very awkward and weird, she thinks might get attacked, and they're like, oh no, they're like, we would not hurt you, and they're like, you guys are about a half a step from murdering her too. Just really creep. But she goes on the rapids after this, and it's like, I don't know how she plans on getting back. It never. Logic. It was that was one aspect of, I guess you could get shuttled there. That's true. But if you parked in the middle of nowhere, why would you? I guess all your gear's there, so maybe that's the sense. But what are you gonna do when you get to the end spot? All your gear's there.
Especially with her supposed to be this pro-extremist and everything, not having a knife, parking there. So some of the logic of the story was a little convoluted and disconnected to me. But in the real world, you just float away, going down these rapids, leaving your transport on the other side of the goddamn.
Yeah, I agree. So that didn't make sense. But outside of that, a lot of what she was doing did make a lot of sense. How she was talking to people, knowing she was alone, how she had the mace, how she handled herself. You could see she wasn't trying to be combative. The easiest thing to do is to kind of just I have to go now. You know what I mean? She was very obvious, to just kind of diffuse the situation. But there was to me a lot of logic. She knew what she was doing and how she was choosing her words. So a lot of that was making sense. There isn't a whole lot of dialogue that is really actually happening in this movie, except certain spots. A lot of it's just kind of following the scene and getting a feeling of it, in my opinion. But it does well. I think it does portray it relatively well, of getting you in the mentality of what's happening and seeing her going through this experience. Even little things I've known this for a while. We've been camping, but we've been campground camping. She's camping in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I do know that that's different because, they talk about needing to put your food up, which is why somebody might ask, why the hell is her bag in a tree in the middle of fucking nowhere? That's because you have to put your food up, and you got to seal it up tight, and you got to keep it away from you, because animals aren't really after the people, they're after the food. So that's why you kind of keep yourself away from the food so you don't get attacked, but you also don't leave leave it right on the ground, you keep it up. That's why it was kind of like, so some of that was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But that also led me to, why didn't she have a fucking gun? Because I would definitely have a gun if I was by myself.
Or even like an axe or something.
Just
like a handheld weapon.
Yes.
Any handheld
other
weapon.
than just mace.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, she didn't even have like a rock climbing gear, like pickaxe. At least it looked like earlier.
Yeah, she was more like a wild child.
So
like
maybe that was supposed to be representative. I don't know. So then she eventually gets wakes up. Her bag is gone, so she gets worried and she goes ahead, and then all of a sudden she runs into good old Ben, who just seems
Mr.
to be
Nice Go,
casually having a little go at the fishies, and they're eating the food, and basically I think it's his at this point. He's like, all right, I got you right where I want you. I'm gonna give you the tell that, oh yeah, you did really good handling yourself, and slowly playing it in there, and she sees the beads on his wrist. And then he's like, okay, he's like, I know she's getting the idea, and I'm gonna feed her and more. And this is one of two of I think the best scenes, but this is my favorite scene, is when they're at his campground and he pulls out the music box and he puts the song on Go by the Chemical Brothers. I've watched that scene multiple times because I think it's fucking phenomenal. Okay? Like I said, not a lot of dialogue in the movie, but the way he's just slowly baiting her in, and then like she gets the recognition and he's like, oh, where you going? Don't leave without your bag. And he's just like, I got this little bow and arrow. Oh, we're going to play this game that you didn't want to do, but I thought you liked extreme things. And then putting the music on is just, and the way he dances and goes, ah, like that.
Yeah.
Like
he was doing tons of animal sounds, which was crazy.
I think it really just played in the psycho that he was. And like, it was just, this is just a casual little thing for him to go ahead and try to kill this other person. And she is totally like getting the recognition, like, oh my God, this guy's about to fucking try to kill me. Like, just that process, the song, his dancing, the song itself, that is my favorite scene, and I absolutely fucking love it.
What's the matter? I thought you liked danger.
See, exactly my point. Like, he knew what he was picking out, but that was her specifically, because as he goes and he kind of catches her in a process, which we can circle back, like, you see that he's hunted other people before. There's alluding to that with earlier on with missing people, but he hunted a family. Clearly a fucking like 12-year-old boy is no match for him, with a mom and I think there was a daughter as well.
Yeah, they had like a dozen or 16 missing persons thing, and again, specifically the person working was there, you should be going in pairs because it's safer that way. And then as she's traveling in her canoe, she passed like a picture, like a memento thing. You know how on the side of the road you're driving, they had one of those in the water again. And then the family that Ben kills, he actually has the phone with like a video playing to kind of entice her in. Again, this whole cat and mouse game, which was fucking wild.
So yeah, it was just the way that like he does it because he wants to, and he tells it like he like eats the flesh to gain their souls, to keep them with him. And I've heard that before with other like serial killers, because ultimately that's what he is. Like, they don't spell it out in that form, but he's a serial killer at this point.
Yeah, and it talks about it was a ritual that he was actually doing.
In his mind it was. I don't know if he was actually doing a ritual per se. You don't get a ton of that. But because of that reason, I think, but when he saw her, it was almost like, oh, she's athletic. She's an extreme person that does danger. He could get that. So he was all about almost taking up the level of competition versus a family. And I think that's what I was vibing out in that part where he's like, oh, you like danger, meaning he knows what she is as far as a person and what activity level she does.
But as far as the ritual thing, Kevin, yeah, I know it was based off of serial killers, but he was talking about when they were down in that cave where I think it was from Indian customs or something like that, or tribalism type thing, where he took off his dentures and you can see he had pointed teeth in it, stuff like that. More like a vampire or a tribalism creature. So I think, like, I don't know if he read up on that or what, but again, in his mind, like, again, maybe it was just him being a psychotic killer or a serial killer, but again, I haven't looked up on my Indian tribal customs, but again, there could be something like that where, again, that tied into, I guess, the ritual per se.
I was going to circle back to that because I wanted to hit up the chase a little bit more. So between the two, like, he was chasing her, and I think he was trying to get her, but I think he also loved the idea and thought that maybe she would try to get him. And that's why he set the trap, potentially, because he's probably also done this numerous of times. And where she comes back to the camp and tries to get him. And tries to get the boat. It's like, I feel like he knew that was going to happen.
So the trap was basically, there was a canoe that was tied up to like a shoreline and stuff like that. And underwater, there was a fucking bear trap. So as soon as she tried to sneak up to undo the canoe from the line, she stepped in the fucking bear trap.
Now, I don't think it was it might not have been a bear trap, but it was bear trap-like, because bear traps have the claws. This was just like a metal square that held her ankle in that she couldn't break away. So it might not have been it's bear trap-like. It might be a different trap for other animals.
It was a hunting trap of some kind.
That's what it was for sure. I don't know if that's like, they might use that for different animals out in Australia, or maybe they don't want to kill them, whereas for bear traps they want to kill them. This was not even meant to maim them. This was meant to literally just capture her.
And that was probably my best scene in the movie, because she kind of got away from him, and then he predicted her next move, and he basically stripped down naked and was rope basically swinging into the fucking river next to this little dock and canoe, and he plays this music, and again, it tied in so well. Kevin talked about a scene with music. The placement of some of these songs in this movie were just gems, and it was just like, all right, come get your relief, come get your canoe, and then she basically
it's right here.
It's right here, take it. And then she gets basically in that trap, and then he basically is like, oh shit, and then basically runs, gets his pants on, and then comes and lets her out of the actual trap, and now she's kind of fucked because her leg's that, and then I believe she got the handcuffs on her afterwards, right?
After he caught her, he handcuffed her, and it was there until they went to the cave. Now
Oh, that's right. She got pulled along in the fucking canoe.
Yes.
In the whitewater fucking rapids, and then to the ritual cave basically.
So in the ritual cave, circling back to what you were saying. First off, in Australia, they don't really have what we call Indian tribes. They have Aborigines that I'm more aware of. That's usually what they would probably call a lot of their natives there, but natives nonetheless to Australia. And yes, I have heard in a lot of, from what I knew, like more cannibal-like tribes, they would sharpen their teeth. So that was not new to me as far as what he did. I thought seeing his teeth was really, really cool and interesting. I was like, that was really an added element and just added to this level of his psychosis. But really, when he says, you're just like my mom, I think at first you're thinking, oh, like maybe he lost his mom, something happened bad to her. But you basically find out she was a piece of shit and probably not very nice to him. And that's why he killed her first. You know what I mean? Like he says she was the first. And I think there is just a level that played into that. And yeah, I think there are rituals and have been rituals for a lot of tribes going back then. But what I meant is, I don't know that he would know it. I think in his mind, he might be doing a ritual, but I don't know how much it actually would be like some of these tribes would be. And if it's a ritual, yes, it's a ritual to him, but it might not be how the tribes would do it. Even if it was cannibal.
Kind of like a religion type ritual versus a ritual of him just killing people.
Yes.
I got
So it would have been more interesting if you got a little bit more background, but you didn't. But it was still, that was my probably my second best favorite scene is when they are in the cave, because the aesthetic appeal of the cave itself was phenomenal. To seeing the hanging not that I like seeing hanging dead bodies.
You're a sick fuck.
I mean, I can't deny that, but it's more about the understanding of painting a picture. Movies to me, and people forget this, but to me, they are art. People don't see movies as art, just like I don't think people see music as art as the same way, because you don't see it with your eyes, you listen to it. Well, a movie is everything, but it's still art. And they created a fantastic art image in that cave and display. And they really showed it to be a gruesome person, to be basically, he's a complete psychopath. I can't remember the person that has no feelings. What's that term? Where they
narcissist?
Yeah, well, no, that they're full of themselves. Yes, but it's like where somebody can't think that they are. They don't care about anybody's feelings. They don't feel anything. I don't remember the term, but yeah, he's giving the complete display of just utter psychopath, and you get to deep into it. And just as you thought you're going to get a little bit into it, that's when she kind of breaks out. And she attacks, and she gets him to chase him again. At this point, she does probably one of the smartest things I've ever seen, and I would have recommended. And like she was still tied up at the hands, and he strapped her on the chain to himself, so she couldn't get out. But once she got him down, he kind of got knocked out a little bit, and she took a rock and broke his fucking leg. And I cannot tell you, I literally said out loud, and I was like, "That's so fucking smart." That was so fucking smart, because at this point, no matter if his hands are good, he can't fucking do anything. And that deep in the middle of nowhere, she was absolutely right when she talked about, if you don't get help, you are going to die. You're going to get a septic infection, and you're just going to die. So I think that's just adding to her level of, she's a smart person. She's an active outside person, and she just knows and understands this guy. She is more than what he knew he was getting into.
You promised we'd do it together.
Well, yes, there's that too. But and then at that point, once she did it, it's like she just got away from him a little bit, laid down, and it's like she knew. She's like, for all intents and purposes, she won the situation. You know what I mean? So
that was weird.
That was weird. What was that?
I don't know. We lost video for a second, but that's okay.
So I mean, and then you see her spill her guts out. Like, that was so telling of this situation, don't you think?
Yeah.
So
you wrapping up with story, Kev? Or, you got any other points you want to touch upon? I went over some of the quotes already. She obviously at the end throws his compass after she survives that in the ocean, as far as, a closing out of the actual movie. And
yeah. I think, like I said, there's not a ton to the story. There's not a ton of dialogue, but it's still interesting to watch all the dynamics play out. The one thing I was wondering is, why do you think, I mean, maybe it's obvious to a degree, but it made me think, why didn't she wait till the top to get free easily? Because it's not like she had to, carry him. Like, she wasn't under anything. Or you think she just wanted to get away from him? I was like, she probably just wanted to get away from him as quick as possible. But in reality, she could have got him to the top and then did whatever she wanted to. And there's no guarantee just because you're at the top, you're going to get free.
I think because of her having the angle of being a bit hidden versus being kind of up in the open where she was pulling him, I think just kind of took that opportunity of making sure she was high enough. So I think she was plotting that way. I don't think she necessarily needed to wait all the way to the top. Plus, she already went through all that fucking hell and energy-wise, you know what I mean?
Dude, I was thinking, what if she was climbing all the way to the top and then just fucking crashed and burned? How much would that suck to be not only carrying him half the way up, do all that work, finally be free of him, and then you lost your grip and crashed and died in the process? I would, Like, I would be so fucking pissed. That would be like the worst thing in the world to go.
Yeah,
but
so to me, that was perfectly fine at the first opportunity, because even the first time she touched her harness, he was like, "No, Sasha, no!"
Yes.
Because they were tied together, and then she got fucked and got pulled down. So I think she was just doing it at the first opportunity instead of having to go all the way fucking up.
Yeah, it was very interesting how his mentality changed as soon as he knew his leg was broke. He almost became a little kid or something like that. I don't know if that was like...
I mean, I'd be a little bitch too if my fucking leg was broken.
Well,
but the fucking bone sticking out, oh, it was so gross.
But it's like he knew he was helpless and he knew he needed her. It was almost like maybe a mommy son kind of situation all over to him or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe. I wonder if something like that played out in his head or something like that. But like his tone, his behavior was almost more childlike after that, I thought. I don't know if you felt that way or not.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't disagree with you. So,
but all right, so we're gonna go ahead and give a little voting on the story and plot, and I am going doo. I'm going thumbs up.
I'm going not all the way thumbs up because of some of the aspects we talked about as far as the common sense, but I'm definitely going. You know,
I mean, it's not a new story by any means,
yeah, exactly.
but the way, like, I mean, let's be honest, even half of Hollywood stories, it's really hard to get new at this day and age. But at least they did their own story, even if it's the same kind of theme or idea. It's a new take, and I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm mostly. Good, just not a full thumbs up.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thumbs up.
All right. So we'll move on to the characters themselves. There's really not much to talk about. I think just for simplicity's sake, the first one I'll bring up is Tommy, which is played by Eric Bana. He's the boyfriend in the first one. I mean, he dies relatively early on, but I think what he means in the symbology of him lasting effect on her is there, because at the end, she throws the compass away and into the ocean. It's like she can bury him in her own way, and I think just figuratively and literally, and I think his character did its job in essence as far as that goes.
Yeah, agreed. He's a A-list actor. God.
A-list actor.
A-list actor. Oh my God, I can't talk. Which, again, they didn't necessarily need to have an all-star cast, but the fact that him and Charlize Theron, who had played Sasha, and then even Ben, who's kind of on the come-up.
No, he's on the come up. Maybe he's not has been doing as long as the other two.
He actually played the voice of Tanner, or Tehran. He played the voice of Rion in the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance TV show on Netflix. I was like, bro, that is awesome.
Eric Bana, I think he's gotten a bad rap ever since the first Hulk movie that he did. I don't think he gets a lot of love that he is. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he just gets some hate because people didn't like his portrayal of it. I actually thought he did pretty good, but again, that's a little off topic. I think he did a great role for what he did in this movie. Next, moving on is, I want to go to Sasha, which is played by Charlize Theron. She has always been a phenomenal actress. Will always be a phenomenal actress, and she just really she has a portrayal about her of being for maybe what some kids like to say, she gives a portrayal of being like a boss bitch, if you ask me. Like she's hardy as a personality. She's tough. She's kind of rugged. She but at the same time, she's still kind of feminine and kind of a strong female character that I think is just done it, and you've seen it over time. And they don't try to make her more crazy, overpowering, and unrealistic. I think it's the normal amount for a character and her abilities, and so that she just plays it to the T. And I think she does a great job. She always has. Going back for decades. I mean, I've been watching movies by her forever, and so. I think her character arc fits the role. I think that was a good casting, and I think she was, probably one of the best castings that you probably could have done. What do you think?
I mean, a lot of these, even the supporting actors, as far as even the hunters, the little cashier, the park ranger, who they talk with the missing persons, with the supporting actors, and then the main cast, like, I think they had a really good balance, good job. They had some good, actors and actresses, and then even the supporting cast that had just very small screen time. Like, it was I think better than fine. I think it was good. I think it was solid. Like, I wouldn't have honestly changed anything. And even the acting that they all did, I think was on par. Like, I don't think acting-wise or casting-wise I would have changed anything. It was just solid. It was good.
I agree. My favorite character, Ben by Taron Egerton, I love when actors get to play out of their style that they've been basically brought in. I don't want to say he was typecasted, but you can see how people get in a certain role, and I think they're kind of forced in a manner to take the same kind of roles because that's how people are seeing him. Being able to play a villain, like Channing Tatum was the I just got this because of my good looks, and then he does 21 Jump Street and gets his goofy side out there, and then he does some other movies where he gets some serious aspect to him, and you allow these actors to really open up. I'm not saying Channing Tatum's like the best actor in the world, but I love seeing those different sides of their acting and their acting ability.
You like seeing the range that they can actually do?
Yes, absolutely, and I think a lot of them can do it pretty well. And I think Egerton here, he does an amazing job. He's so playful and yet so evil all at the same time. And he gets to portray that in such a fun way as a viewer to be kind of drawn in by like, oh, what's this psychopath about to do next? And I just love that. Like, you're like, what's he about to say? And like, he's just so casual about it. It's like, because he's just been probably doing it. I think they said at the end they found like 20 bodies, but they said there might be even more and stuff like that. So it was just the idea that he played such a good character and did a good role. So I'm with you. I think the characters all casted well, all portrayed their roles well. If that's what they wanted as production, I don't think you could have been wrong.
Yeah, I'm ready to rate this, Kev. I'm going solid thumbs up.
Yep, I'm going up. All right. So moving on to I just want to say one little thing. Well, you know what? I'll circle back because I got a thought on this later. So okay, music. All right. So this is one where there's actually some real ties to some things, and I'll circle back to that scene. The Chemical Brothers Go. I've listened to this numerous amounts of times since seeing this movie because this song has got a bass line in there that's got me fucking hooked, man. And I'm totally digging it. I didn't realize I knew a couple other songs by them, but I've listened to a couple other songs by them. Brian listens to that, like the discography of the whole fucking movie. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna take and run with what I like. And I heard this song and I absolutely love it. I thought it was so good. And so yeah, that scene, that song, how he portrayed it. Oh my, it was perfect for me. It really, the song, they did such a good job with how they edited it in.
Yeah, I mean, sound and music was another thing that this movie absolutely fucking nailed because Kevin's talking about obviously the campsite scene with obviously the Chemical Brothers. I already mentioned as far as the Icelandic electronic pop band Trabant. They have the song called Nasty Boy, like I said, while he's naked and swinging into there, going on in the actual background. And I looked it up and I'm just like, this song is like wild. But
go ahead and finish that thought.
It definitely sets the scene, just like when the hunters roll up and freaking Pantera Walk is actually going on their speakers.
I do remember that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Like, they had
that was good.
And even like the Thriller like music, like background tone, the background music for like building up the tension. Again, your filler music, if you say. So they had a really good balance of really iconic songs for certain scenes and then the tension scenes. So like the music and sound to me was on point.
So I want to say this. So the scene that you like where he's swimming naked and that Trabant song is playing. So I watched the movie. I remember a song was playing, but I don't really remember anything. Brian sends me the music link via YouTube, and I listened to it. And I got to tell you, I don't remember any of those lyrics really playing during the movie. But I absolutely hate that fucking song, and I didn't want to tell you. I thought it was so, like, the beat's actually pretty good, but when I hear the guy singing, his lyrics are so fucking stupid. You know what it sounds like? He sounds like an amateur, and I'm not trying to be like a pain or like a negative Nancy, but he's just like, yeah, I'm a dirty boy. Like, he's just some random guy. I'm a nasty boy. He's just some random guy talking on some background beats, and that's what he sounded like. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. I don't know. I didn't even notice the song. I just remember music playing, and then you sent me that, and I'm like, this is a terrible fucking song.
I thought it was hilarious because has this song in the background talking about being a dirty, nasty boy, and he's a fucking psycho killer.
I mean, there's the irony that's funny. Yes.
So that's why I was like, okay, this is my fucking jam, and I'm here to listen to this song after the movie because it was iconic as fuck.
I'm here to make you go. I mean, that bitch starts running. Like, that's what it's about right there. So, all right.
Are we ready to rate this?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and rate it.
Oh,
you gotta go thumbs up. And you know how much I'm a music person and these things. So yeah, it was actually good. Moving to special effects. So the great thing about this is you really didn't need a lot of actual special effects because the landscape was taking a lot of it. Even early on in the mountain scene, I don't think a lot of that was special effects. Maybe they did it, and if they did such a great job I didn't notice. It looked like it was just the mountainside. So I thought that was really good. And then being down in Australia with the rapids and just these little spots and climbing in these caves, literally the scenery sets it. So you don't need a ton of actual, at least me thinking this. I don't know if they actually put stuff in the studio or the CGI with that. But there are a couple blemishes, I will say, because I think some of the special effects were kind of bad at certain points when they actually did use them. The first one that was noticeable to me was when Eric Bana got hit in the face. He looked not right afterwards. Like, he didn't even look human. It just looked total CGI to me. Maybe that's what they were going for, but they didn't make it look good enough to me. In my opinion, that was probably the worst one. And the other thing that I didn't think was great is when the rafts were going upside down and the people were upside down and they were underwater, and like they got the Charlize Theron hit her head, and so did Egerton. Like, I thought that stuff looked pretty bad. But outside of that, even when Egerton died, like his graphics looked actually pretty decent. I would imagine it looked like plush, like that noise, it like poofs, like something like that when he dies, like his head hits. So yeah, okay, it would look like putty, I think, because he landed on the rock like that. But just those are the two biggest blemishes for me.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the visual effects were absolutely, like, stunning, like, as Kevin kind of already kind of talked to. And, yeah, one of the special effects that I didn't like was when Charlize Theron, Sasha, was falling down the hill after being shot in the back, and she falls in the water. Again, the CGI definitely looked bad. But as far as, like, again, Kevin kind of already talked to about the scenes earlier, but, like, the makeshift hut, with the hanging chains and being in the actual cave, and the scenery was just so freaking gorgeous.
Phenomenal, the cave, yeah.
And then as far as part of the visuals and wardrobe, where he takes off his dentures and you can see his pointed fucking teeth being sharp as fuck, like a vampire, predator, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Cannibal. We're going to go with cannibal.
One of the things I actually looked into was the first part of the actual movie when they were in Europe at the Troll Wall in Norway. It's actually the tallest vertical rock face in Europe. And actually, one of the things I actually looked into was base jumping is actually an extreme sport where individuals would parachute from a tall, stationary, fixed objects. And basically, people were doing that, and the wall was a destination for climbers and base jumpers. most notably Carl Bonesch, who was actually the father of base jumping. He actually was killed on the troll wall in 1984 after setting the world record for the highest base jump in history. And then his wife actually jumped with him and held the record until Valerie Rozoff jumped off Cho Uzu in 2017 after 25,000 feet. So, but yeah, it's been illegal from the troll wall base jumping since 1986. So
base jumping's not exactly legal in a lot of spots.
Yeah, so
it's really kind of an extreme sport because it's completely illegal too.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that you could die doing it, but that's why it's illegal.
And then as far as the actual Wandara National Park, that was actually a fictional name because they actually filmed a lot in New South Wales, Australia, from like the Blue Mountains National Park. As far as the swim places, actually the cast and crew actually swam to hard to reach caves and crevices, which I thought was really cool. They also used Royal National Park in Needles for the river evasion and swimming sequences. Ginny Dara Falls for the cliff jumping sequence. So they use a couple of different places in that, which I thought was really cool. And it kind of reminds me, and I think we even talked to this about years ago, Kevin, like, I don't know if you told me you visited maybe the Home Alone house, or someone else told me as far as what was the prison movie? Shawshank Redemption.
I went to that.
And how they filmed in different locations, but they made it seem like it was. So it's just interesting to me, like where movies they film at different places, but then they obviously can create a whole different location. So I just wanted to mention those things.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I think the idea that you have to wear a fake denture on your teeth, then to wear a fake denture on a fake denture is fucking funny because he had to do that to show his fake cannibal teeth. But yeah, it was phenomenal to watch. They even if they pieced together a unknown or a made-up kind of area, I think you get the feel for it. You didn't need it to be actual there, and that's, I think, actually Hollywood works like that a lot of the time. They never usually actually use legit places in its totality as far as that goes with the filming. So not surprised there, but just interesting. It was, and like I said, a lot of that looks so good because I think a lot of that was pretty real, like as far as the nature and wildlife. So it was easy to do that as far as, So
yeah, that's all I had for this, Kev. Did you want to go ahead and rate this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right, I'm going slightly thumbs up.
I'm going to go up as well.
CGI was bad, but yeah.
Yep.
Mostly, definitely up.
It didn't do enough to make me go down. It was or even down a little bit. It's just straight up. Up.
So let's move on to emotional connection, rewatchability, and how the critical response felt about this, Kev.
All right, yeah, you go ahead and take this.
So, on the review website, Rotten Tomatoes, 66% of the reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6.0 out of 10. Website's consensus, benefiting from astonishing Australian locations and Charlize Theron's raw athleticism while skipping on the finer details, Apex doesn't mark the zenith of survival thrillers, but makes a solid entry, which I pretty much agree with that. Luke Buckmaster of The Guardian gave the film 2 stars out of 5, stating, "It's not hard to be cynical about movies like Apex or to second guess its format. A trajectory whereby the steely protagonist with a dramatic backstory narrowly escapes death before eventually turning the tables on their assailant. The whole affair feels slick but soulless, with no personality or, despite the lush settings, any real sense of place." Thomas Lafty of RogerEbert.com gave the movie 3 stars out of 4 and added, "Cormaker is a masterly in," I'm guessing that's probably the director, "masterly in utilizing his locations, seamlessly marrying every turn, cave, rapid, and waterfall with the narrative, realizing their full potential. Meanwhile, Egerton's maniacal scream and frighteningly livid eyes, and Theron's composed strength and endurance make a worthy pairing, with the balance slowly shifting between the two." On On IMDb, 52_52 said a mixed opportunity in the wilderness. Apex had all of the ingredients to be a standout survival thriller, stunning visuals, breathtaking landscapes, and solid performances from Charlize Theron and Tanner Egerton. And then I already kind of talked about a little bit earlier from Chip Chops, talking about, again, the logic gaps and stuff like that. But that was mainly a lot of the reviews that I thought were interesting.
So my biggest thing, like, about this is I liked it, but I thought they left so much meat on the bone. So much meat on the bone. This guy, this character, Egerton, had such potential to be, I think, you know, a couple sequel movies, personally. The background with his mother, the other White Water rafters, I think you had even if you want to get into the crazy idea of prequels and how he got to where he is, I think there was a setup here that you could have played out. Any real serial killer like that in a normal human is what, like, a lot of these serial killers from, like, the 80s and 90s, even 70s, are almost fantasy like. It's hard to get one, like, more of a normal person to get the staying power, in my opinion. And I think he had that element, especially with these caves. Now, you could do this as his end one and work your way back. Okay, I could see that. I just felt like that is partially why, had she got him to the top, maybe beat his ass, even stabbed him, and almost left him for dead, but still lived, or even made him beat his ass and got the cops caught. Like, there's a way to keep him alive to somehow revisit this. Maybe he escapes from prison and just MIA for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden he's back on it.
Then we got Scream 6 and...
Well, but I'm not trying to get to that level, but you could get 3 movies out of it. I think his character is that interesting, with a backstory, with the teeth, with the silly, playful, psychotic person that he is. Like, I think you had something here that you could have used that would have been amazing with the meat on the bone, and some more could have showed him killing a few people even. Man, I think that would have been even better, or even see his ritual.
So you're just not happy with some of the plot holes that they left open?
Well, I don't think it's the plot holes, although there's a couple of, but to me, like, okay, how the fuck were you supposed to get back to your car? That's not the end of the world. It is a hole to me, but it's not the end of the world. But I'm more disappointed. Like, I wanted more. Like, what happened? Why are you so fucked up from your mom? Like, I wanted to know that. And like that, you don't get that if you kill off your character in the first movie. I guess, like I said,
they could be like Star Wars. Darth Maul got killed in the first film, and how many?
This isn't exactly Star Wars with Darth Maul. So, I just, I don't know. That's the only thing where I would really drop it down a notch, is because there was so much more they could have done detail-wise with the background for him. Maybe it's because the focus is supposed to be on Charlize Theron, but I would have liked to have they would have delved into more of his character, or at least allowed it to happen at another time, potentially.
So you did have an emotional connection to the character, which is why you wanted more.
No, I'm not a psycho, Brian. I didn't connect with him. I connected to the idea of this movie portraying art that I enjoyed and wanted to see the psycho go psycho more.
All right, well, do we want to rate this guy?
Yeah, let's go ahead and rate this bad boy.
I'm going slight thumbs up.
I'm going to go mostly up. Yeah, it was a solid B plus like.
For sure.
But definitely, like, I could have enjoyed it a little bit more in some shape or form, and was hoping that we were going to get that. But once obviously he get dropped, I was like, oh, this shit's done. It's a one and done.
But yeah, my kind of overall thoughts and rating was, it was a very good, like, psycho action thriller with a tint of horror, had, again, really great visuals, I would say
sociopath. That's what the fucking word is. Sociopath. Sorry, go ahead.
great performances and acting, obviously, by all the actors and actresses. You know, and again, even though it had your traditional psycho hunting victims in the wilderness trope, I thought it was a pretty solid damn movie.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the hills have eyes kind of thing or that,
I haven't seen that
wrong turn nonsense going on. But I think it, because some of that's embellished obviously for a large reason. This felt like if it was going to be more naturally occurring, you could see it. I don't know if he's a bad aim with a bow and arrow or not. That was a little weird, but
he missed on purpose.
That's what
he was.
I think he was. I was thinking he was playing with her. Yeah. So I'm
absolutely.
with you. But yeah, I think you won't be. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you enjoy these kind of thriller killer kind of movies. In my opinion, even though there is actually just one death you see, but a little gruesome, but I liked it. All right, is that all she wrote?
I think that's all she wrote. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode.
Yes, we appreciate it. We're out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify on Tuesdays and also YouTube on Thursdays. We don't always say it in timely manners, but that's when we're supposed to be out.
We stick to that schedule
pretty much, just bear with us at times.
I like having fun with thumbnails and changing up the way it goes.
They are beautiful. I really love them. Please keep them coming. So, but at this point, until next time, folks, thank you for supporting us in any fashion.
Yeah. Be a psycho. Keep supporting us. Peace.
Yeah, be psycho. What?